Hey guys, today I've got another NJR review for you. This is the limited Blade Liger Leon from Tomy. This came out in 2001, but I actually just found one on eBay last month for, let's say, a somewhat reasonable price. Anyway, we're going to do an unboxing, comparison pics, and check it out in motion, of course, but as usual, because this is an old Zoid, I'm also going to show you how it's built. No time to waste then, let's get cracking.
Robo Shop.
Alright, let's do something weird and crazy and start with the box, huh? From what I remember, this is pretty much the standard design for the NJR limited models. This is the box art that the standard Blade Liger came in, and then you've got this thing here, this frame around the picture that is sort of meant to like indicate a metal box, I guess. The sides and the back are the standard NJR design. It shows here the walks and the blade gimmick, the boosters, a bunch of information on the bottom here. The only thing that's a bit unusual, obviously, if you're familiar, is that this is red. These boxes were usually gray with a black and white picture, but they've decided to make this one red, which I think we can guess why. So yeah, let's get this thing out of the box here. As you can see, this has had quite a bit of wear and tear here. There's a big crease on the front. Also the tape on the side's been opened, which does not bode well. But I guess we're gonna find out if everything's here. Here's the motor. And here are the sprues. Nothing else in the box, so let's put that away. Let's see here. Let's go through all of this. First of all, we have the sticker sheet here, which, as is often the case, is creased. This was often a problem with the NJR models, and it really doesn't help that these stickers are super thick as well, so these are not going to go on well. I may actually, yeah, I don't know about these big ones. I may put on the little ones, but we'll see. I think I've mentioned before that I'm not a big fan of the, okay, this bag has been opened. Not good. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of the NJR stickers because they were always too thick and looked nasty, and every round surface you tried to apply them to, they peeled off of. But let's take a look at the instruction here. We have a list of the parts, which I am going to make sure that everything's here, given that this bag was open. But we've got the teeth here, the feet. These, if I remember correctly, these are all die cast. We've got the gearbox, the canopy, all of the sprues. The instructions, as per usual, have, you know, the new part and the step that's illustrated is blue. Everything else is white. Here's how it all goes together. Obviously I'll show you a montage of how you do that afterwards, so there's no need to go through the instructions in detail. Here at the end, the final step is to put the stuff on the tail and put the boosters on. Then it shows all the parts that you can move around. You know, I think it was still a shield contraption on the Blade Liger, if I remember correctly. How the blades fold out, how the boosters come up, the opening canopy, and the character model, which, as it turns out, it only has one of. This looks like Zeke, and I'm going to be honest right here. I could not stand watching New Century Zero beyond maybe the first 3 episodes until I wanted to see all the characters dead. So I'm guessing this organoid had a different name on the show, and I may still look this up and talk about it afterwards. But that's the instructions. Let's take a look at the parts. We have here, these are the armor pieces that go on the feet. This is the canopy. Nice two-piece part here. We've got the red plastic and the clear plastic. And then, of course, as on the blue Blade Liger, some pre-painted stuff on the red parts. This is a fairly nice dull red, I have to say. I think from what I remember, the reason I didn't buy this one back in the day, aside from the fact that I wasn't never really all that into color variants, was because I expected it to be an eyesore. But the red color is pretty nice. Pre-painted white here, all looks, yep, this is all more or less inside the lines. This is going to look good. Give me the knife here so that we can get these parts out of their bag. I know, this is exciting stuff. These are obviously the torso halves. Let me get this out of the way here so I can show this a bit better. The tail, tubes, guns. These are the parts that hold the blades on the side. If I remember correctly, these gun parts, I'm not sure anymore. I think those are actually Shield Liger parts. The caps have held up very nicely. They feel nice and fresh. That's good. Then we have black for the undercarriage. If you've never seen a Tomy Blade Liger before, there's really nice detail on all of these leg pieces here. I mean, the Liger legs, to be honest, were really always sort of the pinnacle of Tomy's Zoids engineering back in the day. Here we have more red armor. I don't know, obviously, you know, the collar isn't going to look the way it does in real life on camera, so you're just going to have to take my word for the fact that this is really kind of, it's not super glossy for one thing, and it's also sort of a slightly desaturated red collar. Looks really cool. I'm very pleasantly surprised, I have to say. Alrighty, now here we have, okay, the character sprue. And this is the same character sprue that came with basically every other model. Zeke, Van, and Fiona. I mean, personally, I'm not offended because I don't really know who Leon Toros was, but if you're really into New Century Zero, I'm guessing this is a big disappointment. Definitely no actual appropriate character figures here. It's just a straight recolor of the original Blade Liger with the same characters. Here we have the chest gun, some mechanical stuff in gray. I'm gonna do color comparison with the original Blade Liger afterwards. Obviously, more mechanical bits for the legs. And here we have the final bag, which contains, first of all, okay, for some reason the bag with the die cast parts is taped to it. I don't know if that's the way that was supposed to be. And again, obviously this has been opened and tampered with, so we have, very nice, we have the feet here. 4 identical pieces, if I remember correctly. That's the feet, upper teeth, lower teeth, all gold die cast. Very nice stuff, nice and heavy and sort of clunky too. And finally, we have the Blade Liger parts. Oh, right. I remember. This is the actual Blade Liger tail. The other one I just showed you guys earlier is the Shield Liger tail. These are obviously the blades painted. This is for the this is the boosters that go on the back, and this is these are the tail wings, which, as you can see, this part is actually molded in gray, and then it's painted to look like the armor. I don't even remember this from the original Blade Liger, but it's been like 20 years. Now, if you look here, yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, guys. This is not the best match in terms of color. First of all, because the paint is glossy, you have a different finish. It's also a darker red. Plus, There's a little bit of white overspray here. Not too thrilled about what that looks like. Finally, let's take a quick peek at the gearbox, even though it's nothing that exciting. We have a standard NJR gearbox with the rotating crank here, power switch, 4 cranks on the sides to drive the legs. This is where the batteries go, and the screw on the bottom that we were super offended by back in the day. And that's it. So up next, I am going to first double check that everything is actually in here, because otherwise I have to file a complaint with the eBay seller. And then I'm gonna put this guy together. I'll show you how that works, and then we'll do comparisons. Alright, let's start with the comparisons. Here it is next to the original Blade Liger. As you can see, other than the armor, everything is in the exact same colors. Here's my personal favorite version, the Black Impact, which, you know, isn't actually black, but like, here it is. And here's the Blade Liger Mirage, which I'm pretty sure is the only one that came with the attack boosters. You had to buy those separately as a CP unit otherwise. Anyway, let's check it out in action. Of course, if you've seen one of the old Ligers move, you've seen them all, but there's not much wrong with that. The leg design is straight from the 80s, and it held up fine until well into the NJR period. I have to say I forgot how fast this one walks though, despite the fact that it's only powered by one AAA battery. Here's a shot with everything deployed. I'm not usually a fan of blades on Zoids, but I will admit that the Blade Liger's weapons are really cool, and it's just an iconic design at this point. The boosters on the back look like this when they're deployed. Unfortunately, they don't come up automatically when you pull up the armor piece, but you can retract them just by pushing down on it. Now, I said in the unboxing that I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by the red collar, and honestly, as much as I complain about Ligers, the Blade Liger is actually a damn cool design, and we shouldn't blame it for what came later, but I did run into quite a bit of trouble with this kit. For one thing, as you can see here, the cockpit hatch doesn't close properly, and I'm going to have to modify it to address this. What's worse though is that all the die-cast parts have deteriorated over time. You can see here that the claws are cracked all over, but the teeth also snapped into pieces during assembly, and everything is now held together with super glue. On top of that, I also noticed that even when I remembered to put the teeth in correctly, the head armor still didn't fit around them properly, and I needed to slice away some plastic just to get it to fit. And those aren't the only parts fit problems I ran into. From what I remember, that's always been a bit of an issue with the Tomy Blade Liger because they made these new armor parts to fit onto the old Shield Liger frame, and I guess the technology at the time just wasn't there, but it's never been as noticeable as with this version. Which is weird because the Mirage and the Black Impact both came out later and their cockpits closed just fine. If it was mold deterioration, the problems would have gotten worse by then. So, I have no idea if I just got a bad one or if this is a general problem, but well, it kinda sucks. So, do I recommend this one? I guess if you absolutely need your Blade Liger to be red, or if you want to get every version, sure. But if you're a fan of New Century Zero, you'll be disappointed by the lack of Leon figure, and other than the red armor and the frankly ugly box, there's nothing about this version that's at all different from the standard Blade Liger, which you can probably get cheaper. I don't regret buying it or anything, but I wouldn't exactly put it at the top of anyone's shopping list. Well, and that's it for this one, folks. If you're a fan of Zoids and you're new here, the vast majority of the content on this channel is Zoids, and I've always got more coming, so you should probably be clicking on the subscribe button right about now. And if you want to support me, I've got Patreon and PayPal links in the description below, or just like the video, that helps too. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.